So this is the sign up. Make sure your sign up is as simple as possible. So you are picking the full name, telephone number, email, and password, right? So when we are done, we can come and design the login. I'm coming to his project, views, apps, and I come to it's a landing page. That's where the sign up is. So I'll come to landing and I'll search for the script over here. So there's nothing here. I'm going to export default, right? So the first thing I'm going to bring in this component is the name of the component. The second is the data. That returns what? An object. Okay. The next one is created. And then the next one is notice. So over here, you come to his landing page, search for his modal. That is where we have the name. So you see, it's found here. I need to reduce the size so that I'll get it clearly. This input takes off of his full name. So I'm going to give it a V model and I assign full name to it. But before I do that, I can come here and give this object a property called user, and that user takes an object. The first object's property name is full name, and I'll give it a string. The second one takes what? That should come from this interface. So I have full name. I'm going to take telephone number. So I can call it phone, and I give it an empty. And the next one is email. So I'll give email to empty. Then I give password to empty. So when I come here, when I type, okay, it's loading. When I type inside the password, you can see the text. Why is it in the text? The type is what? So it means I've not changed the text. The type supposed not to be a text for password. It's supposed to be what? Password. So once I type password here and I come back here, I should be able to, you see, automatically change the what do you call the hidden characters. Okay, now I have that one set. Let's set our models, right? Let me reduce the font size. I hope you find it difficult to see, but you just have to. Other than that, it will be difficult for me to also see because we didn't take our time to do the indentation very well. That is a problem because all these sizes are all here. Okay, let me just pull it a bit and see what happens. So I can stand here, pull this to this side. Okay, so I now have this view. V model full name. So it's going to be user.what full name, and we are going to give the telephone number to V model. So V model equals to what? User.what phone. I hope what we are doing by now, each of you understand what you are doing now. If you don't understand it, it means you've not been practicing. And if you don't practice to forget about knowing it, we can do the project for you. By the end of the day, still, you can't do anything. So a user that what? Email. And this thing too, I think I've taken enough time to explain this to you. And we even have a lot of video recording about it. So, when do we say, and I say, bon one or bon. I know you don't like it when I'm hitting it so hard like this. So I can call it save, right? So I click right. I click and I can call it either save or submit, any of them. So when it's clicked, do this particular function. So what we can do is that let's test that particular method, submit, and see if everything is okay. So I'll come here, say submit, right? Submit. Then I log something here. It's WT, but for the sake of our learning, I think now when you do, it loads faster. I don't understand why some of you are still complaining. Okay, this is when we set the click first. So now when I click here and I do submit, you see, so our button is working and our submit is working. So what we have to do next is to make sure that we prevent users from, what do you call it, submitting empty data. So the first thing I have to do is check if not this dot user dot full name, right, then it should return alert, right? And what am I going to alert? So provide full name, right? So let's test that one and see how it works. I think the background, when it reloads, it doesn't close the modal background. So when I do this, you see, provide what? Full name. So we can do same like this instead of using, so this dot user dot what? Phone. The phone is compulsory. If not this one, then they should return. Should return alert. Provide what? Telephone. But don't forget this alerts we are providing. You can also use element to do that. That day we are using element. So some of you had issues installing element. Let me see if this project I had element in the where is my app? The main.js. There's no element. So let me install element whilst we are working. I'll come to this area. I'm going to go to their website to get the element. When you come like this, don't go home and sleep. Most of you, everything shows that when you went home, you didn't even open it. And then Wednesday, tomorrow is Thursday. Now, week in our end. Now I can say tools. Tools only shall say across all be insertion to your database. Or database unconstructed. And funny enough, it's because of this thing that I'm more extended 1 month in my because I 1 month we can count. Now sorry I was under. They came and walk around, time I open over. Or da time I open. Now was under a share to the oh, nipa a fucking you share to the and I may actually you hey, away there, Charlie, and actually on Papa. And I hope share to the oh, they are quadro, ayo, quadro, quadrofita. So whilst it's installing, let's continue. Machine I am. So we are also saying that they should return this. So you see another way of so this dot user dot what email. You see another way of doing the validation, right? You realize that what I'm doing is different from what you've been. You use the else if else if else if. You can do it this way. So I want to tell my jolly level. So if not what? This dot user dot password. I want to return alert. Provide password. So if all these conditions are met, then why don't we import our services here? Let's see if it finished installing. It's done, right? So let's see how we are going to import elements. I'll go to internationalization and I'll just copy this gentleman here and I'll come to my main.app. I'll place it here. Normally, I want those models to be separated from the files. Right, this is from a file, and this you all know is from a module. So I want to group them in such a way that all those who are models are grouped on top, and the files one are like this. That's what I normally want. And I use it like this, and I'll paste it. You are supposed to be grouped together. Okay, now I have this. Let's check and see whether it loads. Okay, so you have this without. Let me check something. I look as if full name. Does it throw any error over here? Okay, it doesn't throw any error. Okay, it's run successfully. Salam, did you just see our import? So it has nothing to do with this one. Now, once it's working, we can borrow their alert instead of using the native alert. So I'll come here, search for notification and alert, right? There's difference between the pop-up or the pop-over and message box. What you were using yesterday was message box. You were using notification, right? This is what you're using, right? But I don't like using this one. There's one I always want to use. There's another one B. That's what I normally use for my projects. Not this one. Let me see. Not dialog 2. Let me check this. Not this. Not this one too. Oh, Charlie. It's not pop over image. Let me go for message. Yes, that's what I want. So what we are showing to the user is a warning, right? Is there a warning or arrow? Telling somebody to provide something, is there a warning? Is there a warning? Well, anyway. Anyway, yeah, the answer your project and then another thing. So we are going for this. So I'll just copy this. This is for success. So I'll change it to warning. So what I'm saying is that if full name is not there, return this. Definitely. I can make it one line. Oh, no, sorry. When I'm making a one line, it's going to be something else. So let me just leave it like this. I'm on my way. So it should return message. Type should be what? Warning. Okay, so here you can say please provide what? Full name. So let's test that one and see. When it closes, the backdrop doesn't go. For this thing, and also by higher crowd. So when I click here and I go like this, do you see it? No. And we are not getting errors too. Let me check. Okay, because I took off the return. Because I took off the return, it's jumping to the next one. let me check and see if my message is right in there. Can you see it? So it's supposed to work. Look as if our let is not in conformance with this. Let me try the message one. Not this. Let me try this and let's see. If it doesn't work, for the sake of time, I will use the native alert so that I will have time to resolve it. This one too doesn't work. But I will not be surprised that it's working, but then the modal is covering the message that is popping up. Sometimes it does happen. Because the modal, the Z index is so high, any pop-up will come will be under it. I hope you know what Z index is. Z index. Really? Okay, let's use the native alerts. I'll have time and resolve this. Okay, so if everything here is met, let's make sure our services is working. Okay, we don't even have that folder here. asɛm a project yi deɛ I hope this is how it is, right? So here I'm going to import hello one no problem what's happening and I'm in na also so okay, we are importing Axios, meanwhile we are still installing it, so I know our compiler will be giving us errors, but to soon get it. Now let's come to our services, what do you call it, our landing page, where we have the script. We now import services. from go back one to London, and I come to Vue. So from London, and I go to Vue. So I move from London, I'll move from Vue, and I'll come to services. So I'll call it services over here. Let me see if this gentleman is done. He's done. Okay, now if I'm done, let me check my service and see whether my import was okay. Console log group of services. So okay, my services are working, and I have all my endpoints in there. Can you see them? Okay, so once they are working, I'll come here. If all these conditions are met, then do this stuff for me. Services dot dot post, right? What am I posting to? Post into services dot endpoints dot what? Sign up. Does it make sense? Okay, so what I'm saying is that if all these conditions are met, we have our full name, we have telephone number, we have email, we have password, then come down here and post something to this particular endpoint. So what am I posting in there? I'm posting this data, right? What data is there? So I'll come here, check for my MySQL. It's PHP my admin, right? PHP my admin. And I search for the title of the project, which is reserve, and I go into users, go to structure, and I know that I have first name, last name, telephone number, whatever. So what I will do is that I will say full name, right, equals to this dot user dot full name. I hope you know what I'm getting those from. So now I come to email, and so this dot user dot email, and I come to my password. You can just arrange it how you want, but normally I let it follow, it's better. So should I make it phone or phone will be okay. This dot user dot what? Was it a phone? Phone. Okay. Phone. Check. I hope you are following. Okay. So this password is going to be this dot what? User dot password. Is that all? There are 4. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now, when we are done sending this data, now we say wait for a response. Then wait for a response. The response we are going to get is going to be in a form of a function. So you use a fat arrow function. So this is the response we are getting, the fat arrow function, like this. So we are getting this data as a response from the server, right? So what we are saying is that if the response that we are getting contains a data, always response should contain a data. If the response contains a data, console.log the data and let's see what is in there, right? So we are going to console.log what is inside that data, response.data. This response is coming from here. This is a custom name. You can change it to any name you want at all. So once it's in there, then if we are not getting data, then we catch the error. So we catch this particular error, and this ERR I'm giving is also user defined. You can just give it any name at all. You can even call it Salifo, it will work. So if Salifo is there, then you can console.log that's ERR. So anytime there's an error as far as your network is concerned, it will come here, right? if there's an error as far as your this thing is concerned, your request is concerned to come here. Okay, now that we have this, let's try and see what we are going to get. And if you open the result API, which is down here, we have router, we have app. So let's check for the sign up router. You see sign up router. And what are we doing? We are sending message say what is working. So anytime we hit that particular endpoint, we should get the result saying what is working. So let's see if it's really working. So it means that everything's set. When I click here and I provide my name, right, and then telephone number, and this particular email that I have down there, and I provide my password, I should get a response back. Okay, it says that we have core policy. So remember this. So the core, the other day we resolve it, and I gave you some code snippets. Let me come to my app. Let me go to projects, add a project folder, and I search for this particular API. I think we developed some API called sign up, right? Sign up. StarHub API price there. So let's see what is inside StarHub API. And I come here, I'll come to the app. Let's say if it contains that script that we use to resolve our core policy. I think it's not here, right? It's not here. There is a day that we are using this stuff to change the, instead of bringing the V1 here, V2, we are using this stuff to change it. And we're changing the names over here. It's quite different from what you're looking at. Let me add another project and look at it. It's what? The tenants, they resolve someone in the nature. Okay, tenant API. I don't have that script offhand, so okay, here's it. It's about time I memorize this to know. Other than that, a day that will be in a hurry and I'm not finding the script. But it's always at Express their website. When you go to their website, it's there because they know it's a major challenge. So I'll place it right above here. I'll place it right above here. And let's try it again. But before that, let's check and see if our API is running without any error. 7,000 is running without any error. Let's clear this particular error and save again. Okay, what do we have here? It says error. Sign up for 7,000 API. Request only supports scheme HTTP, Chrome extension, HTTPS. Let me see what we have inside our. Allow headers, access token, accept. Let me make another verification over here. Okay. Did you install the parser? And did you import it? Okay, so let's bring that script over here. Let me check from these people. Post mine. Okay, that is what you have, right? Confirm whether this localhost 7000 API is the same as what we have here. Inside our, now we don't log the service, right? Let me just refresh and see whether, because I'm getting some 88. Inside my landing, let me confirm the URL. So services. So the endpoint is localhost 7000 API. Is it the same? The same as this one. But when you hit here, you don't get that error. You see it? So I don't see. I don't know why it's giving me this error. And once this thing is there, it's supposed to resolve any other thing that is coming. Let me come here. This change. This thing is going to slow us down. Seriously. I'm not expecting this error at this stage at all. Because the star here is telling you that I should take any URL that is coming. So I'm surprised it's doing that. Still not accepting. Okay, let me try. I've noticed what is causing it. supposed to be like this. Because we didn't add this to the base URL, supposed to have been like this. So it was not getting the, what do you call it, the protocol. It's not getting the protocol. Okay, so I'm trying again. I hope you saw what I did. It was like this without this one. And it was complaining that, let me take this one out and let's see the complaint. So that when you get it after these things are set, after these ones are set, because this one's supposed to remove, solve every that course policy. I still haven't this issue. So let me get the error. I'll bring my name here and the telephone number here. So when I save, it works. This is serious. Because I just changed that one, but it's still running. It means it didn't pick the other one. So the error will come back. See, it's still running. So let me cancel it. See, the error came back. Did you see it? So I wanted to see how I'm resolving it so that next time. So it's likely yours to have that same issue. So when I click here and I fill my name and the telephone number here, you see I'm having that same error. And look at what the error says. It says that cross-origin request only supported, cross-origin requests are what? Only supported for protocols scheme. You see? So when your protocol is data, HTTP, and Chrome extension HTTPS to work. But when we came here, we realized that our own, we didn't have any protocol. Right? There's no any protocol here. So even if we have made it data, right? And then you bring it like this, it should have been able to work. Right? Because they are expecting data. It's either data or HTTPS like this. And so the data is supposed to be a data column. So even if we change this one to data, they understand. Because the data is a, what do you call it? It's a protocol. You also have this as a protocol. The file is a protocol. Have you noticed a file protocol before? When do you see file protocol? You've been using file protocol, but I don't know you're using it. Yes. So when you open the template file, you see it's file slash the name. That's a file protocol. It reads from a file. It doesn't read from a server. So this is not supported. And they're telling you what they support. So data, HTTP, Chrome, right? Chrome extension and about HTTPS. So let's change that one back to this and let's refresh it and see what happens. I think every error helps us to know new thing, right? So but just that we have to be smart. That one. You should be able to know exactly when those errors. So when I say Abdul, and I bring my telephone number here, it works. So the it works is coming from the API here. Our sign up here, right? And now we've been able to set our body parser, right? And if you are making anything, if you are sending data from this side, it passes through the body, right? It passes through the body. So what you can use to get this particular record is what? The body. So we can say const user, right? The user data, right? And you can say request dot what? Body. So we have extracted the data which is coming. The moment you say request dot body, it means that we are getting this same object. Look at what I'm highlighting. Can you see that? We are getting this same object at the server side, and that same object is the same as this request of what? Body. So let's console that user and let's see and do our comparison. So our server is running. I'm going to send it again. Now I'll get working at the console side because it's sending JSON back. Let's look at the console over here. Can you see? So it tells you that the body is the one that contains this one, request.body. So we are now going to split this first name into first name and last name, because I always tell you that make things easier for the user. So once, if you make the form longer, it becomes difficult for them to scroll. Today I was telling Razak that we are living in the weakest generation. People don't want to suffer. Even form filling, and it's true. When you wake up a day, you can fill a lot of form until you go and sleep. Health insurance form, what form, you are chatting, filling form. Charlie, if we save them some space. So now once we be able to get it over here, let's do the magic over here and say that we have our, we can define a function. We can define a function that does the splitting of the name, and we call it, right? So inside here, inside our configuration file, we can decide to get a new folder called lib. And the lib, do you know what this means? Library. So that's why we're going to keep our own library in there. And this we can call it helper. But yeah, so it's going to be our helper function. Does it make sense? Okay. So inside our lib, we can also have another file called index.js. So over here, we are going to require our helper functions. So every function you are going to write over there will come here. So I'm going to call it const helper equals to this. Once I get it, I will do model does what? Export. Then I equate it to these ones. Helper. It tells you that any other thing that I get, I can just bring it here and export. I don't know whether I'm making sense here. See, I can add additional file, right? What the file is going to do is that, you know, when you are dealing with microservices, these are some of the things that you do. When someone make a post or a like, there are so many services that can handle it. One service is going to make sure that the database is updated, right? And one service is going to make sure that one database is updated. The front end is also giving feedback, right? Normally, that's what people do. One key scenario is that you go to a shopping mall, you enter, pick whatever you want, and then you go to the counter, make payment, and you leave. The same thing when you shop online, when you add a cart. If you get to the server too has someone who is the receptionist. It's a script. They pick your request, look through the database. If your order is there, to give you back. The results will now be passed back to someone who is also in charge of taking money. And that one too is a script. So you can change them in this way. You can change them in this way. So from the order to the cashier, from cashier to the receipt. And all this one, you use what do you call it, script to do that. And these scripts are what they call microservices. It means a giant system that we have developed, we have divided into what? Sessions. So each one has something to do. That's what I'm trying to do here. So here I have a lib. Inside my lib I have helpers, right? And then the helper, I'll import the helper here. Then I'll intend export the entire helpers. Let me see, where was I writing those things? I was doing it inside the lib, right? Inside the lib, what? Is it the index or the helper? Okay, I didn't save it. So when I come here, the helper, there's nothing in there, right? But if you come here, it's something here. So what I'm coming to do is here, what I'm coming to do here now is to say that I have a const called helper, right? Then I will assign it to empty object. I can assign it to empty object, right? And then I do model that what? Export. What am I exporting? Helper. Does it make sense? So instantly, if I don't do anything, I know that I pass empty object to it, and I'm exporting the empty object. So what the lib will do is that it will come here and pick this stuff from here, which is the same as what? The empty object. So in the nutshell, this one is replacing by what? Empty object. And I'm exporting that empty object again. So if I import any other lib anywhere, that lib contains the empty object. Does it make sense? Yes. Okay, now if I come here, once I've been able to export it, I can decide to say that helper dot split name is equals to a function, right? It's equal to a function. So I can write a function here. And that function, what it takes is your it's still recording now. But I hope you know why I was attaching the function to the helper. So what comes to mind when I did the helper, that's the split name, and I'm exporting helper. So what is going to be inside helper? So it means that I'm exporting an object with a function inside as property. Are you getting the point? So I'm exporting it because already I'm exporting the helper. So if I say helper is an object, and I say helper.split name, it means I'm giving it. Let me get you the example. If I say const helper equals empty object like this, right? And I say helper dot split, right? And press enter. It tells that this is the object, and I'm giving it a property. And that property, I'll find what? The function. The function takes a name in here, right? So when I'm done with this function, I can now come and say that another helper dot what? Get name. And assign it to different function. So in that case, I declare the helper label, but I've been adding things to it. And this one makes sense because it makes your code cleaner. Because you can comment over here and say, this is the one taking care of. This is the one taking care of. Yes, but we can also decide to say that cons helper, right, equals to this. Inside it, you can now say it's split, right? Because inside an object, what do I do? You don't have to do what it equals and I bring what function. That takes a name. They say, but here I'll bring comma. Then I'll come and say what? Get name function. But the point is that how do you comment about this? And how do you comment about this? You can't go for this comment. But when you segregate them or you separate them like this, you should be able to write a comment here and tell whoever is going to pick your code to work on that look, this is what this function is meant to. This is what this function is meant to. But when you group them like this, it becomes too long and you can't even have chance to comment. And when you even have error, and I'm saying those means, it could be said, okay, you might say, yeah, which might developer. Sometimes you can get about 5,000 errors. 5,000. JavaScript doesn't give you error at compile time, a compiler mode error. But it's what? Give you the error at runtime. Some are all run and more error. So assuming say 5,000 of code. Now at 2,501 line. We need to figure out what we are. Just imagine. So go through and they don't give you the line to they give you they don't give you the line. You say they do the 500. Now remember I said yeah, about 11 p.m. This one car is not the friends said yeah, 12:30. Come on. That is if you are smart. Or people who see your the other working hard now 1 man or come and 20 man. But when you do it this way, you don't come and do problem. When you do it this way, you don't come and do problem. Right? Oh, now I'm made that. You see, I was sleeping here. The guy's not me a picture. This is in the phone. Yeah, go ahead, Salah. Let's share the bed. Then I'm going to be Java. Sunday, be with you. You're going to tell them I is not welcome now. I never show return. So I hope you understand this concept. It's a very nice concept. I hope you are. So just declare the object up there. Now the relationship. So even say a single volume a string officer of pass here. You can just do const. You can just attach it to it. Here. Then when you import everything in there. That's all. It's a very name. How maybe and count. I will not have the feel of it. So the splitting name will pick the name coming from the browser. I'll say const name array. equals to name dot split, and splitting it with spaces. So I'm going to return an object of first name equals to the name R, the first index of it, and then the last name is going to be the name R, and then the second index. So once I provide this, I'm going to get first name and last name.